Good morning, viewers, and welcome to this 13th edition of Asian Metallurgy Show. As you all know, Asian Metallurgy started in 1996, and before COVID, we were doing round exhibitions along with conferences, and now after COVID, we have shifted totally to digital platform. And now since 2021, we are doing this Asian Metallurgy Show in digital format. Now, what is this Asian Metallurgy all about? Let me tell you in few seconds. Asian Metallurgy comprises of an exhibition and conferences. Now, in digital format, there is a digital exhibition which we try to give you near real experience of a physical exhibition where you can visit the stands, you can chat with the company, you can send messages and all that. And on the conference part, there are various webinars organized during this period of 9 to 15th of December 2024, where we discuss various subjects related to metallurgical industry and see the opportunities, see the challenges, and get the status report of that industry vertical. So here we are for the inauguration session of this 13th Asian Metallurgy, and I welcome our dignitaries, which have spent their valuable time and to be with us. Firstly, I would welcome Mr. Paramjeet Singh, who is director in National Institute of Secondary Steel Technology, which is part of Ministry of Steel. As we all know, Mr. Paramjeet Singh was in Steel Ministry as additional industrial advisor, and before that, he was basically from NIST, and now he has come back to NIST as director. I welcome Mr. Paramjeet Singh for this inauguration session. Then we have Mr. Pughazhenty, who has been Executive Director of Indian Lead Zinc Development Association for a long time. And before that, I remember he was Executive Director in SIMA. So, and before that, he was in SR Steel for a few years. So he has a wide experience, long experience in steel industry and metallurgical industry. He has been past president of Indian Institute of Metals, and now he is spearheading the lead and zinc industry. Thank you, Mr. Pughazhenty, for sparing your time and be with us. And we have Mr. Navneet Agrawal, who is president of the Institute of Indian Foundrymen, the apex body of foundry sector in the country. And apart from that, Mr. Agrawal owns 5 foundries in Calcutta and Chennai, which are, I would say, 99% export-oriented units, and they manufacture around 5,000 plus tons per month. That's a huge tonnage for a foundry industry. So Mr. Agrawal has a huge experience in foundry sector, obviously, and he is heading the apex body of foundry sector in the country. Thank you very much, Mr. Navneet, for sparing your time and being with us for this inauguration session. So we have 3 industry experts from different streams of metallurgy. One from steel industry, one from lead and zinc industry, and one from foundry industry. All these 3 industries being the pillar of metallurgical industry in the country. So I would like to move on to them and get their experiences, get their insights about their particular industry. And with this view, I would first like to request Mr. Navneet to share his thoughts about foundry industry, the future of foundry industry in the country, the opportunities, the challenges, and maybe what foundry industry needs from the policymakers. On all these lines, I would request Mr. Navneet Agrawal to say a few words. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chandekar. I think, first of all, I would like to congratulate you for this 13th edition of the Asian Metallurgy. And I know you have a very good viewership. And I wish you the best, for this edition and all the future edition. I'm happy to meet Mr. Pughazhenty and Mr. Paramjeet Singh, who are here in the inauguration. And I look forward to hearing from them on their perspective. So to begin with, friends, I would like to start with sharing some global scenario in terms of the casting production overall. So as per the World Casting Consensus, published in January 2023 by Modern Castings, the global casting production was estimated at around 113.14 million metric tons, with China, India, and US holding the top 3 positions. So India is second largest producer of castings in the world. And I think we are progressing quite well. So hopefully we'll be the first largest producer in some years, hopefully. Uh, Categorize again, foundry industry is always is a mother industry. As we know, anything and everything, most of the vehicles, most of the industries, whether it's automotive, railways, textiles, cement, electrical, aeronautical, space, agriculture, industrial pump set, diesel engines, sanitary pipe fittings. I mean, anything you look at is foundry industry has a mark, has a large mark there. And the foundry industry is proud to be, supplying most of the products there. So that's the role of the foundry industry overall. Uh, in terms of manufacturing, I think the Indian government has set up that they want to increase the share of manufacturing from 15% to 25%, which will create almost 100 million additional jobs in the next 10 years. So again, that's a big opportunity for the foundry industry, because foundry industry is, as I said, associated with most of the other manufacturing or other product which need to be manufactured. Since all engineering other sectors use metal casting in the manufacturing, the role of foundry industry to support manufacturing is very vital. It is not possible to achieve the above goal without the sustainable corresponding growth of the foundry sector. There are approximately 5,000 units in India today, and out of that, 90% are MSME. Approximately 1,500 units are having international quality accreditation, and several large foundries are extremely modern and definitely globally competitive and supplying a lot of products to various countries around the world. Coming to the contribution of the foundry industry in the Indian economy, and in terms of revenue, MSME are often considered as a backbone of the Indian economy. And the foundry industry adds almost 22 billion US dollars worth of product to the economy or to the GDP. Export of major castings has grown from 3.1 billion US dollar in 1819 and today stands around 4.5 billion US dollar as per the data of 23-24. The Indian foundry industry contributes to more than 2 million direct and indirect employment in the country as of today. So that's how we are in the Indian foundry or the foundry industry in the Indian economy. I would also talk a little bit about IF, which I represent. So IF was established in 1950, and I am happy to say that we are celebrating our 75th year this year. And we are probably one of the oldest industry body in the country, celebrating our 75th year. We have close to 4,000 members today, and we are hoping to become a 5,000 member organization in the next year and a half. We are headquartered in Calcutta. We operate 4 regional offices. We have 23 chapters across India, and we have 4 center of excellences. And why I want to talk about a little bit about the Center of Excellence, because I think they have been contributing, and we hope that they can contribute furthermore in the growth of the industry overall. And I think that's one of my focus is that how, as a foundry industry, we can contribute more than what we have been, and what are the opportunities we can bring on, and how we can capitalize on those opportunities. So these Center of Excellences are actually meant for that. So we have 4. One is in Delhi, which is basically to collect the data, do the analytics of the data, and also do a policy advocacy with the government. So being the apex body for foundry, we do that. The second center is in Chennai, which is more on skill development. And I think in order to create that 100 million more jobs, we need to have people who are skilled in the various segments, which can be utilized by the foundry industry. And that center is actually doing that work, and we want to grow that furthermore. The third center is located in Pune, which is our National Center for Technical Services. And as the name says, it's more on providing technical services, consultancy to our members. And the fourth one, which is a new addition, is aimed at export. And I think it automatically shows that how critical export is today for the foundry industry to have our own center of excellence, which is now based in Kolkata and is already starting work on capacity building and helping our members to know how to export. How coming to the opportunities in India again, I think aiming at Foundry 4.0 and supporting the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister of making India a 5 trillion economy with a Viksit Bharat, with Sabka Saath, Sabka Vishwas, and Sabka Prayas, we need to focus on creating a sustainability roadmap, integrating technology, innovation, automation, environment, and information. Growing demand for niche value-added castings, whether it's aluminum, specialty alloys for electric vehicles, and many more new products coming in the market. Increasing demand for high-value, high-quality castings for aerospace, aviation, defense, electric vehicles, railways, which I think is a huge focus currently, and we can already see a lot of opportunities, especially in railways. We can see a lot of opportunities today in aerospace. We can see a lot of opportunities in defense, where the government is also wanting to indigenize a lot of the products and develop new products. So again, these are the sectors where a lot of foundry products will be required. The government's impetus on building capabilities in the above-mentioned sector has opened up a lot of opportunities. The government is also focusing on indigenization, as mentioned, defense, development of railway, highway infrastructure, and many other different infrastructure and capital goods requirement, which again will increase the segment, the focus or the requirement of foundry products. With high impetus on these niche sectors, requirement of casting will grow multifold in the coming years, with requirement of precision cast components to match safety critical requirements of these sectors. And one thing I will also add here is that it's not just making the casting. Another opportunity or the evolution which is happening is on sustainability. What we see with a lot of our members, what we see with a lot of, whether it's for the Indian market, whether it's for the export market, a lot of focus is now coming on the sustainability side. As an industry, we are also hoping that we can get part of the PLI scheme, which the government is quite focused on and wants to promote. So I think that will help us a lot and achieve our the targets what we have internally, and to meet the target of the government for its GDP growth. I think in view of these, foundries across India are presently upgrading facilities. We see a lot of technology changes. We see a lot of like high pressure, high speed machines coming in the market today. We see a lot of enhancement, a lot of focus on productivity. We see a lot of, focus, as I mentioned, on sustainability. So I think these are the things which are already going on. Indian foundry industry is producing high-value, high-tech foundry products. India industry also is diversifying into new products, new materials to make lightweight components using carbon alloys, aluminum, and use of electric vehicles and so on. One more thing I would add is on the export side. I think we see India is today in a cusp where we already know of China plus one, which has been going on for quite some time now. But I think the good news is now that with the new president coming in the US, we hope that it will create a much bigger thrust for companies which are buying from China to move to other countries, especially if he increases the tariff on China. And I think foundry industry is well positioned in India to take advantage of that. And I think that's one large opportunity. So today, the foundry industry, I would say, has two large opportunities. One is the domestic opportunity with railway, defense, and other sectors opening up, a lot of investment coming in, and which will require foundry product. And second is on the export side, where with the companies from US and Europe, especially wanting to have another base rather than just China, India is a natural choice. And today, we have democracy. Today, we have the capacity. Today, we have the capability. We are upgrading our technologies all across. So there is a huge opportunity which is coming up. And I think we, as a foundry industry, as a fraternity, we should try to capitalize on this as much as possible. Nonetheless, there are some challenges also, which I would like to highlight in this platform. I think the biggest challenge we are facing today is the sand. Sand is becoming a big challenge today across India. We see it in South India, where sand was coming from Gudur in Andhra Pradesh, and it's not been available for the last 5-6 months now. And that's a big input, which is creating a lot of trouble. Again, we are working closely platform like yours, sir, where we can highlight this matter to the specific people to get that done. The other thing which is happening is on the electricity cost. Although we, as India, we have one electricity policy, but unfortunately, different states have different policies for it. So that's one thing. I mean, we would urge this. I mean, using this platform to urge to the government that we should have a singular policy which will make the foundries to run on an equal footing, rather than have foundries running on different footing depending on the state where they are. The third one, similar, is on the pollution norm. Although we have a central pollution norm, but the state where some states have adopted the central policy, some states have not adopted. So again, I've used this platform to urge the policymakers if that can be sorted out, because that will help us to gain all the opportunity which we see today. I mean, otherwise people are confused. We get a lot of members where they say that no, I mean, some cases we need environmental clearances, some cases we don't need after a certain, I mean, volume of tonnage. So again, this is something which is a issue we are facing. Third issue, although we are all embarking on sustainability, one of the requirements which is coming up for export to Europe, and I'm sure it will also catapult to other countries, is CBAM, which is already effective for some grades of steel and will be fully effective from 2026 for all the products exporting to Europe. So again, that's where we would urge the government and the policymakers to look at and make a standardization plus provide facilitation in terms of achieving that. Because I think everyone wants to do it, but everyone is confused. I think the people who need to facilitate the calculation, basis of calculation, all these are still work in progress, and different people have different what you call interpretation of it. So that's something which, if we can do that, I'm sure the industry is already wanting to do. Just we need the right policy and the direction to do this. I think IF, as I mentioned, is in its 75th year, and I would again, I mean, use this platform to reach out to people to come into IIF, to come be part of the industry, which has been there for hundreds of years and will continue to be there for several hundred of years. And today we are in India, we have a lot of opportunity. So with that, I would, take a leave, and thank you, Mr. Chandekar, for giving this opportunity. Thank you.
Just a minute. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Agrawal, and it was really nice to hear that foundry industry is not only expanding, but it is almost exploding. So I think there are a lot of opportunities domestically also, and for export also. One of the things which you mentioned, that carbon border adjustment mechanism, I think we have officially opposed to that move by the Europe. I'm sure Mr. Paramjeet Singh will address this issue in his speech. But thank you very much, Mr. Navneet ji, and I would now go to Mr. Pughazhenty for his views on lead and zinc industry in specific, and metallurgical industry in general. Over to Mr. Pughazhenty.
Thank you, my good friend Chandekar Saab. I've always been with you for a long time. Apart from your Metalworld and Steelworld, I know you've been doing many other events, exhibition on aluminum extrusion, your events in Dubai, the 13th event now. I must compliment you and your passion for doing these events, either physically or virtually. And after COVID, now it is either hybrid or virtual. This is what's happening now. And please don't say that we are sparing our valuable time. Those words, you can keep it for ministers and bureaucrats. We are in the industry and we are with you here. And I must compliment your team, your Chandekar Business Media Private Limited and the team. A small team doing such wonderful work. Next 7 days, you are going to have several panel discussions on steel, sponge iron, lead and zinc, sustainability, etc. I'm sure many would join and watch this. Thank God you are also live casting it on YouTube, and I'm sure you will have many viewers. You told me that last event was watched by 1.2 million viewers.
Yeah,
That's what you
yes,
said,
yes,
which
yes.
is incredible. I think people around the world are watching these events, which is a good thing. And it was so nice to see both Paramjeet Singh, my good friend. Unfortunately, when he was in Udyog Bhavan, I had not gone and met him for long. He was been busy. I have been busy with my own work. My activity has to be sustained, and I always kept an eye momentum. And Navneet ji, I look forward to seeing you in the next Foundry Congress. And IAF, I was very active in the beginning. Then later on, I shifted to IIM more. From 1978, I am a member of IIM. IIM was started in Calcutta in 1948. We celebrated our 75th year last year. And IAM is something which I am very passionate and dedicated with that institute. I go to schools and colleges to motivate children. Think of metallurgy as a career choice. Don't go to IT sector, everything is there. There's so many things I see startups doing well in metal sector. They're all going for new opportunities in metals industry, which is really very good. And you talked about Navneet ji, this China plus one strategy, which I have been closely following. The latest Niti Aayog report, both Chandekar Saab and Paramjeet Singh, kindly note down. The latest Niti Aayog report says the China plus one strategy, unfortunately, India has not encashed totally. And the opportunity shifted to Malaysia, Vietnam, and Thailand. It has gone there. So they have addressed this issue very seriously. Our industry should focus on this China plus one strategy. Most of the MNCs, global companies are looking at India for variety of reasons, political, economical, the growth momentum here. They are all looking at India. You have PLI, you have whatever incentive. We have to see that if not China, India should be at the center stage in the world supply chain. Name anything, textile or steel or non-ferrous or whatever, castings, etc. So I think that is something, Navneet ji, you kindly have a look at the now latest report. If you send me the email ID, I'll send you some press clippings also. We cannot. India is a nuclear economy, space economy, knowledge economy, plenty of scientific, technical manpower here. They are there around the world. And how can we lose this opportunity? To
Yes.
Vietnam of all the places, to Vietnam, to Malaysia, to Thailand. What is this? This is something I can't believe. So coming
Sir, one
to
of the reasons may be cheap labor, sir. There we cannot do much. I sorry to interrupt. One of the reasons may be cheap labor.
where in those countries,
Yes, yes.
our country also is cheaper compared to
No
Europe,
more, sir.
North
No more.
America,
No more.
etc. But one thing, why don't you look at apart from the lower cost, the manufacturing base in India for the last 75 years, everywhere, auto industry, we are now third player or whatever. Steel, we are second in the world. Castings, nowadays, we are number two. So we have such a strong base, whether it is steel or non-ferrous or iron, everywhere we are very active. So labor is one, but volume is there, capacity is there, industry is there, manufacturing is a big activity here for long. Tell me what is there in Malaysia except gas and palm oil? Tell me what is there? That's all. But you have everything here. Now coming to my thing, I think I don't want to have a long debate here. Needless to say, you said lead and zinc as one of my caps. I've been wearing many caps. As a metallurgist, let me tell you, metals form the backbone of the economy. It's everywhere there, whether it is industry, agriculture, infrastructure, construction. Take your own mobile. The
Yeah,
body will be magnesium body, and you have got lithium battery inside or nickel cadmium battery inside.
yeah,
So
yeah.
everywhere metals are there. And this is going to be a huge opportunity for India, particularly because the GDP growth, it has come down. The Q2 GDP has come down from 5.8 or 6% and all that. But otherwise, India is the world's fastest growing economy. with a large domestic demand and consumption for everything in this country. All the global players in automotive sector, they are all here. Name any coach or two-wheeler, three-wheeler, four-wheeler, they are all here in this country. The buying power here. And then the outlays in infrastructure, construction, agriculture, services is massive here. So this is a country where metals are going to play a big part. Now, Navneet talked about electric mobility. We are putting a lot of effort there, but where are the critical minerals? We don't have lithium. We don't have nickel. We don't have cobalt. The government of India, Ministry of Mines has already told NMDC and Hindustan Copper to go around the world for joint ventures, particularly Latin America. The triangular countries, ABC, Argentina, Bolivia, Chile. Go talk to them, have some discussion with them, invest there, try to have some export of lithium, etc. to India. Similarly, other countries wherever nickel, cobalt, Indonesia is there with nickel, Cuba nickel, Canada and all that. So they have been alerted those countries. So critical mineral is going to be a huge gap in this country for electric vehicles particularly. And there are companies, Exide, for instance, in Calcutta, Amara Raja in Andhra Pradesh, they already announced they are going to put up lithium battery manufacturing plant. We can't depend upon China for long. India is slowly bringing down imports from China indirectly due to political reasons. While we are discussing with them on border, etc., on trade, we want to bring down our dependence on China. We have to have domestic base here. So coming to this country, the amount of money and the momentum that we are seeing in renewable energy, we are 175 gigawatt in the country now. We were supposed to reach 220 gigawatt by 2022. We missed the bus, but nevertheless, we are 177 gigawatt as of now in renewable energy, largely solar, to some extent wind energy. 2030, we are planning to have 500 gigawatt renewable. That is our target. And we are moving in the right direction. Global players are also coming here for renewable energy investments, their manufacturing base, etc. The other electric vehicles, let me tell you very clearly, there's a big hype in this country on electric vehicles. Where is the charging infrastructure? Where is the additional power you need for charging your vehicles? Do you have? Yesterday only I was reading, Government of India has announced additional capacity in thermal power plants. So you are only shifting, when electric vehicle you are talking about the pollution load, you are shifting from cities and towns of India to the power generation point, thermal power plants. That's all. So you are not really making a big thing. But lithium is going to be a big issue, nickel, cobalt, etc. By and large, I see in India, you will see tremendous growth in electric two-wheelers, electric three-wheelers, luxury cars, and public transport buses. This is what is going to happen, not in the small and mid-sized cars, etc. The electric vehicle is going to have only in those areas public transport, electric two-wheelers, electric three-wheelers, and of course luxury cars and all that. For your information, electric three-wheelers in Delhi, for instance, most of the guys are using lead batteries. It is affordable, cheaper, and 99% recyclable. And you go to the corner, you have a battery dealer. Everywhere you can go and exchange, and immediately you can have a lead battery. So lead battery, let me tell you, in this country, it started with forklifts in Calcutta and some other cities in the shop floors or warehouses, forklifts. Then it went to railway coaches. Below your railway coach, your battery of bank of batteries there, which is giving power to your coach, light, fan, etc. inside the coach. Then it went to automotive sector. Initially, India was not paying much attention to automotive sector. Somebody owning a car in my young days, they'll say, oh, he's having a car. He's a rich man. Today, a young guy who goes for a job in IT sector, he buys a car and he has a scooter also for short range, movement, etc. Things have changed in this country. So cars, for instance, has come such a large number here in this country. So this is one sector where automotive batteries, lead batteries are in big numbers. Then UPS for your computers, inverters, lead battery supported inverters, house, hospital, school, bank, everywhere inverters are there. Now we are shifting to energy storage, renewable energy, and also to some extent in electric. So because of this multi-sectoral application of lead batteries, India has many times achieved double-digit growth in lead batteries. And recycling is a big game in this country. I think Paramjeet will know, Chandekar will know, most likely Navneet ji also will know. For a long time, India was import dependent for non-ferrous metals before 1980, totally from Australia, Canada, Europe, and all that. After 80s, 84, 81, 91, and all that, many players have come. Hindustan Copper was a tiny player. Hindustan Copper is languishing in India. And Balco has been taken over by Vedanta Aluminium. So all these companies are all million ton capacity players in aluminium, copper, zinc, etc. Lead, if I tell you the number, it's mind boggling. India is consuming 1.5 million tons of lead in this country. 1.5 we were importing earlier. Today we are consuming 1.5 million tons of lead. 75% of that lead is coming from recycling of used lead batteries. 75% come from the used lead batteries. We are doing recycling. We started practicing circular economy 50 years ago. The world is talking about circular economy, net zero, carbon credit, and all that. Now, we started doing circular economy. I know Calcutta, Punjab, Kanpur, many places, whatever lead batteries were available from Ambassador and Fiatca, we started recycling them. And this has grown in number. Telecom batteries, inverter batteries, everything is available. So lead recycling is a big activity in this country because of its low melting recycling operation. 327 degrees centigrade is the melting point of lead. And anybody can put up this recycling. You don't need a sophisticated one. But now what we are doing, I was a part of CPCB MOF committee. We told them in India we should go for closed door clean operations in recycling, rotary furnace, refining kettle, etc. And no longer this traditional good old mandir batti. Navneet ji, you would have heard about mandir battis. Paramjeet ji, Punjab maybe this kind of mandir batti, temple shaped brick structure which can be demolished and reconstructed overnight. So this mandir batti cannot be here in this country. Informal recycling is a very bad thing. 30% of recycling is all informal. I want this to be 5%, 2%. Gradually, it should be eliminated. Closely working with the MOEF, State Pollution Control Board, CPCB, this informal sector, I'm ashamed of this. I'm hearing about informal backyard recycling for the last 40, 50 years. We cannot have this. We should have organized players, big capacity players, clean operations, excellent occupational health and shop floor practice. We should have that kind of recycling. We cannot afford the other backyard recycling. Coming to zinc, Paramjeet Singh ji knows steel demand is closely linked with, zinc demand is closely related with steel demand because 80% of zinc goes for galvanizing, corrosion protection, whether it is steel tube, steel sheet, steel wire, steel angles, everything is galvanized in this country. Telecom tower, for instance, railway electrification tower, power transmission tower, they are all made of galvanized mild steel angles. Then they erect the tower. Why? Because galvanizing zinc gives excellent corrosion protection and it postpones your onset of corrosion by 50 years. zinc gives maintenance-free protection unlike paints. Plating can be shiny, that also gives a longer life. Galvanizing gives 50, 60 years of life depending on the coating which you apply and the atmosphere to which the job is exposed. These are the critical factors. And galvanizing, I think Paramjeet Singh would have seen many continuous sheet galvanizing plants in SAIL, JSW, Tata Steel, all continuous galvanizing. There are many others, wire galvanizers, structural galvanizers, pipe galvanizing, Hisar and Rohtak and all that. So galvanizing is a big activity. And let me tell you, galvanizing initially is slightly costlier than paint. But if you look at the life cycle, 50, 60 years, it becomes an investment. You don't have to do any maintenance or repair later on. Galvanizing gives plenty of life. Just galvanize, erect it, and just relax and go for. Let us save money. By corrosion, India loses about 4 to 5% of a GDP. That nobody looks at it. Government of India talks about environment protection. Why not corrosion protection? That is also very important. When there's a rail accident or an accident in a flyover, they blame the steel. It's rusted steel, rusted rail, etc. So we can't be talking on those lines. So corrosion protection is a very important subject. Galvanizing should be made compulsory or mandatory for any structure, infrastructure or construction. I want to tell Paramjeet Singh, I think galvanize the rebar in RCC, coastal areas, corrosion prone areas. ILZDA, I have been promoting this for long. The first application of galvanized rebar in India took place in 1984 in Lotus Temple. I was instrumental in recommending galvanized rebar for that. L&T, ECC came to me. They said, we want to have a white marble-like Taj Mahal structure for 200 years without any rust stain, concrete cracking, etc. I said, go and see the Sydney Opera House on the river. It's there, beautiful, similar lotus-like structure. They have used galvanized rebar. Why don't you use? Then they said, yes, let's use this. Then we went around looking for galvanizer. First time we used 500 tons of galvanized rebar has been used here. The latest, I should tell you, the world's tallest Krishna Mandir coming up in Mathura, Vrindavan. It's called Chandrodaya. It should hit the moon, Chandrodaya. That is the name of the temple. And there they are using about 2,000 tons of galvanized rebar in all the structures, RCC structures. So this is the future for zinc. I think I would like to stop at this because I'll go endless and Paramjeet will be looking at me when is Puksa going to conclude. Sorry, I prolonged. Thank you very much. We'll see some other occasion. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Mr. Pughazhenty, for your insightful speech about metallurgy and in general and lead and zinc industry in particular. Thank you very much. And now we move on to Mr. Paramjeet Singh ji. Mr. Paramjeet, this is all yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chandekar. Thank you so much. First of all, I would like to, as you can say thank you and good afternoon to all of you because we have started this session in the morning and we have turned to the afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm very happy that I have been given an opportunity to speak on this inaugural session for the 13th Asian Metallurgy. And as it is, I am thankful that Mr. Chandekar has arranged 3 different areas. One is non-ferrous, foundry, and the steel. It is, you can say, some way enhancing the knowledge of each other. And this is a platform we can say that which is exchanging the knowledge and increasing the knowledge of each other. Thank you, Mr. Chandekar, so much. Thank you so much. However, before I touch upon the subject, I would like to review and present the brief overview and insight of the steel sector, as it is very well said by the Mr. Pughazhenty, that this steel is the backbone of any economy, and there is direct correlation between the steel usage in the country and its economic development. And if you see to the other countries like Japan, Korea, and US, they have a high per capita steel consumption, which is going with the range of 500 to 800 kg, whereas in India, our per capita steel consumption is around 98 kg per person, which is very low, which indicates that there is a lot of scope, that huge scope for the enhancement of usage of steel in the country. Apart from this, government is taking a lot of initiatives that how we can increase the consumption of our steel, like they are giving the push to the infrastructure projects, which is announced by the government, like on the railway, port, shipping, civil aviation, road transport, etc., which enhances the steel requirement sustainably in the years to come. Apart from that, Gati Shakti master plan announced by the Honorable Minister is also going to boost the steel demand in the country further. And I am happy to share that as compared to our previous year, that is 2020, 22-23, where the production was around 127 million ton, we have touched a record of around 144 million ton in the year 23-24, which is quite high. And if you see that this production is going to be around 250 million tons by 2030, and we are the second largest steel producer after China, and I think our demand is going to increase significantly in future. And if you see this, the total 100 and if you see our steel industry is divided in two parts. Actually, if you can say the one is the BF route, and another is the DRI route. And major, if you see the total production of 145 million ton, which is being produced in the country, around 43% is produced through the blast furnace and BOF route, and balance is met by the induction furnace and EAF route. Induction furnace is contributing on 35% of the total steel crude steel production, which is quite substantial amount. And this total 35% is being produced by the smaller sector, where they have a capacity from around, you can say, 1 lakh ton per annum to the 5 lakh ton or 10 lakh ton per annum. So this sector is contributing, you can say, significant amount of steel requirement. And in future, whenever the capacity of our steel industry will be around 300 billion ton by 2030, 33%, it is expected that it's to be met by the secondary steel sector or smaller sector. While there is a huge opportunity of the steel sector, that there are challenges also. That the major challenge which is present in the in front of the industry is the basically decarbonization. If you see that the total emission, if you see the total emission of the industry, then 12% of the emission is contributed by the steel industry, as compared to the global global steel industries. They are contributing around 8%, but in our country, that it is contributions are 12%. So the challenge is huge for, in front of the steel industry. So this is the major challenge. If you see the blast furnace route, they are you can say having a range of 2.2 to 2.5 ton per ton of the crude steel emission level. And in DRI EAF route, that is the major, because they are mostly dependent on the thermal coal, and the emission is little bit on the higher side. And ministry, you can say, government has already taken the initiatives in this line, that how we can help the industry. When I was working in the Ministry of Steel, that one of the project that has been, you can say, sanctioned by the Ministry of MNRE for the production of the, you can say, low emission steel. That is how we can enhance the use of hydrogen in the steel industry. That because hydrogen can replace coal, which is acting as a reducing agent. And if we can reduce the carbon input in the, you can say, reduction of the steel, we can definitely reduce the emission levels. So that is one of the project. And under this project, 3 pilot projects were sanctioned. And there is a scope that once they will be successful in completion of this project, and once the technology will be developed, then it will be shared with all the industries, because government was of the opinion that why should we depend upon the only foreign technologies? Why shouldn't we work on that? In this, looking into that, the project was given to develop around 20 ton per day DRI by using the hydrogen. And once I think this technology will come, that will help the industry to adopt the technology. However, then then the production of hydrogen is again a challenge, because we need when we are going to use the hydrogen, then that hydrogen should need to be produced from the green energy, that is the renewable energy. And as it is already been mentioned that we are going to have a capacity of 500 gigawatt of renewable energy, I think then this the production of hydrogen for the use of steel making, I think, can be met through the production of renewable energy. In addition to this, to give the opportunity to the as you can say, same platform to the smaller and bigger sector, government has already taken the initiative. They have been already notified 51 Indian standards under the preview of quality control order, so that the quality steel products can be made available to the public at large. It is also creating the awareness among the smaller players also to produce the steel, and whatever the steel which is coming from the global players, that should meet the minimum requirement to make the available of quality steel product in the country. And to produce the quality products, because I have seen that our steel industry has improved the quality steel production, but still there is this, you can say, gap in the industry. The smaller industry, I think they need to more focus on the consistent quality products. Regarding that, I think somewhere there the skill level plays a major role in this regard. Ministry has already given a task to NISST to collect the data to understand the skill gap in the industry, so that they can be further, the government can make a policy to provide the skilled manpower to the industry. That is also been worked upon. And another area where the government has given the support to the steel industry is the PLI, when that is to produce the quality products within the country to meet the niche requirement of the country. That push has already been, many industries have already, you can say, taken the benefit of the PLI, and I think the production will start within this year or next year. That quality product will, which is being imported right now, that will be met by the domestic industry. The area where I think that more focus need to be made is basically a digitization or the industry 4, where the bigger industry have already taken the steps in this regard. But to meet the, you can say, demand of the small industry, NIST is already in discussion with the Chandekar ji that how we can pick up this initiative and make aware the steel industry for the, you can say, adoption of the industry 4 in their production, as well as the production as well, to produce the consistent quality of the steel. Because while working in the Ministry of Steel, I have seen that a lot many grades which are coming in the smaller quantity, they are still we are dependent on them, which can, that niche requirement can be met by the smaller industry, as the small hubs are being, you can say, made by the Japan to meet the global requirement. I think that India can take a lead in that case by producing that niche products, and they can meet the requirement of the country, as well as the they can, you can say, work for the export requirement also. This is all. I think all other points have been already been shared by the other speakers by them, and I think with this I'll take the opportunity to close my talk. Thank you, Chandekar ji. Thank you, Navneet ji, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Paramjeet Singh, for your again very insightful, very informative, and futuristic view of steel industry. And so we had three perspectives: one from the foundry industry, one from the lead and zinc industry, and one from the steel industry. And of course, I think all these perspectives are very positive, and we can very well say that the metallurgical industry, the ferrous, non-ferrous, both is progressing decently, and we look forward to a very bright future for metallurgical industry, because metallurgy. See, my theory is very simple, sir. India's infrastructure growth is centered around India's economy is centered around infrastructure growth. Infrastructure growth, you cannot see infrastructure growth without metals. So it's all metal centric economy which we are seeing today in India. And thank you very much for giving your insightful speech and sharing your thoughts. Mr. Paramjeet Singh, thank you very much. Mr. Navneet Agrawal, thank you very
Thank you,
much.
sir.
You are here in spite of being, tied up with a function domain at your residence. So thank you very much for that. Mr. Pughazhenty, you have always been our supporter right through this journey from 1996 up till now. Thank you very much for that. So thank you very much, all the dignitaries, and we now come to the end of this inauguration session, and we look forward to a very meaningful interaction during this 9 to 15th December show. We have panel discussions on sustainability. We have panel discussion on zinc and lead. Especially Mr. Pughazhenty will again be sparing his time for that, and we have panel discussion on digitalization and subjects like that. So look forward for a very meaningful, very insightful, and very constructive interaction in metallurgical sector in this week. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Mr. Chandekar.
Thank you. Thank you.